Hey everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Chicks TV. I am here with the weekend reality reviews. Up first is going to be Real Housewives of Potomac. I'm calling this Reasonably Shady. That's the name of Giselle and Robin's new podcast, and it was a reasonably shady episode. This was actually a good episode. I liked the girls getting together at the end, having a good time, even though that was all shade, but we going to get to that. At the beginning of the episode, we see Giselle with Grace, I believe. Another driving lesson. All I could do when I watch that driving lesson is have flashbacks. I've been there. I've taught a teenager to drive. Let me tell you, they get better. Now, they might crash a car a time or two, but they get better. Moving on, Giselle is on the phone with Robin. They're planning their party, to tell the group that they're having the podcast. The party is going to be outside because not Robin, but Giselle is doing construction to her damn house again. I'm going to have to see the finished product because what I see right now, I don't. To me, Giselle had a tear down. She should have tore that whole thing down and started all over because her putting the pieces together, they don't fit. It looks like a bad high school shop project. It just the house. I personally don't like it, but it's Giselle's house, and Giselle paid way too damn much money. Like she already paid damn near $1 million just for what she had. I know she had about 1.5, 1.6 million for that house to look like that, but we gonna move on. Now, Giselle is on the phone telling Robin, everybody can come over here. We're going to have us some cute tent, some cute balloons. We're going to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with an outside party, especially during COVID. Like, it's during COVID. You need to be sitting your asses outside, breathing some fresh air anyway. They should have had it in Robin's yard. But we gonna get to that at the end. Giselle is telling people she still got a problem with Karen and she still got a problem with Wendy. So they can't come in the house and use the bathroom. They just gonna have to hold it or go in the bushes in the backyard. That's completely tacky. I don't believe for 1 second she would have actually made them pop a squat in the backyard. But for TV sakes, it's just petty. One, because both of these bitches apologized to your ass when neither one of them owed you an apology. You owe both of them. Well, not Karen. We ain't gonna start with Karen. We ain't gonna go back there. But ultimately, Karen apologized to your ass. Wendy, you and Wendy has some kind of mutual understanding when you owe Wendy an apology. But we gonna get to that later. And I just don't understand why we still going backwards. But let's move forward from that. We're gonna get into the party a little bit later. Karen has this publicist or manager, whoever she was, come to the house to bring her three wick candles. Karen said 3 wick so many times this episode, it should have been a drinking game. Every time Karen said 3 wick, 3 wicks, and Wendy's one, we should have took a shot and we all would have been good and woozy the way Karen was at the end of the episode with her shot. It really wasn't nothing to these candles. I really don't care. I'm going to support as soon as I see one out there on the market. I'm going to buy one because I've always supported Karen. I was just upset they had Ray carry that heavy ass box. It looked like Ray was about to break every candle in the box. If you two ladies couldn't have went out there and brought that down, you, the manager, you bring the shit in the house. You brought it over here. Bring shit in the house when you ring the doorbell. But let's move on from that. At the end of that cute scene, Karen and Ray play with their marriage a little bit. And we not even going to go any further than that. Y'all better stop. Up next, Candace talks to Mama Dot. I don't know why, but I like Mama Dot, even though she is all messy. All mess. But Candace wants to know what Mia said. So she goes to Mama Dot and was like, I heard Mia was asking about Chris. getting paid, what was being said, and Mama Dot gives a quick "I don't recall." Now she only doesn't recall because she doesn't want to have to answer for the shit she said. I don't know why your daughter gonna see it on TV anyway, but I have a feeling Candace gives Mama Dot a pass the same way Candy Brink gives Mama Joyce a pass. So move on from that. Eventually, Chris comes home. Chris lets us know that they bringing up the title of management without payment, and Mama Dot was like, "Look, you can be the manager all you want to be, but maybe you should call it something else because if and when." She didn't say if and when, but she meant if and when y'all break up, it's gonna be some confusion with him walking around talking about he your manager and he not getting 20%. I 100% agree with what Mama Dot was saying because we done seen this shit go down with damn near everybody black with their husband as their manager. You can't do that, especially not pay them. Now that's the difference. She was paying the man, but you're not paying him. And if this Deep Space album, which I like, I'm gonna give it to you, Candace. I was shading that album like crazy, just because I don't like the Drive Back song, but I like the Go Go song, and I listened to some of the album, and it's a nice throwback album, and Candace can actually sing. I think maybe she's irritating on the show, so sometimes you're like, oh, her voice is irritating. But the album is a great album. Support it. At least give it a listen. If you like throwback R&B music, you probably will like Deep Space. But let's move on. Chris tells Candace and Mama Dorothy the only contract he needs is his marriage license and his prenup. That's the setup right there. Now he was trying. Y'all thought he was trying to say that as to say I don't need none of Candace's money. He was letting you know this marriage license is gonna give me half, regardless, because the prenup only is gonna protect Candace from what she had before they got married. If you two are making money together, management, artist, he's getting half of everything you make off of every movie you made, every record you sell. Guarantee you, Chris is coming from half. He already told you this marriage license, all the contract I need. I read into what he was saying. And let's move on. Then Chris also lets it be known at the end, Mama Dot ain't never paid a bill with his name on it. And I said, okay, she might not have paid a bill with your name on it, but she definitely paid a mortgage that helped free up cash for you to pay the bills with your name on it. So let's not pretend like Mama Dot ain't ever helped you in your household financially. Shit. The biggest bill you could pay is a mortgage. I wish somebody would pay a mortgage. But at the end of the day, what I need Candace to know, Candace, you're the one who always comes on this show and offers the information about your finances. And for that to be such a triggering topic of discussion for you, I suggest you no longer offer that information up to the group and you just talk about other things, and you need to let it be clear finances are off limits. That means they should be off limits for you, because once you start putting the information on the table, of course these ladies are going to have questions and shady concerns. Now let's move on. Mia and her mom and the family finally go out for this ice cream. This scene was a snore. All this scene showed me is that Mia is a little bit, I don't know. I don't want to get, I ain't no counselor. It's something going on between Mia and the mom, or Mia and the sister, because I don't understand why, if the mom is always hanging out with the sister, they always going out to get pedicures, going to the mall, why can't you take your ass with them? If your sister got little kids and you got little kids, why aren't you all doing things together? Like, why can't be the three of you? Why it's got to be, oh, me and mom, or me or mom and Rashida? I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. But the dynamics of Mia's childhood, I got an accounting degree, not a psychology degree. So I don't know. It could be some more stuff there. But I just feel like the way those kids interact with the mom, it looks like they love their grandmother. It looks like they have some kind of relationship with her for them to all, rally around her and want to hang out with her. I just don't understand what Mia is saying, but I'm gonna move on from Mia because that scene, the way Mia was talking about her and her mama's relationship, I was ready for the dramatics. It's been all kind of fizzly. I don't know. It wasn't giving what I thought it was going to give. Anyway, Wendy, Skylar, and Karen meet up at Wendy's house to pack up school supplies. I want to say something shady, but I'm not. I'm not. I want to say it looked like they spent $20 on some pencils and folders at Walmart and put them in a little free bag, but I'm not. All I'm gonna say is I hope they gave a lot more than what was on that little folding table in Wendy's living room. But every bit counts. Is all I'm gonna say. Every bit counts. I said I wasn't gonna say nothing shady. Anyway, Karen is telling Wendy's candles is $1 billion industry, and it's room for both of us to sell candles. It is. I think that was Karen's way of putting an olive branch out there. Like, yeah, I know it was kind of shady for me to tell you about my candles the way I did, but we both can sell candles, and you both can. I I don't dislike Wendy, depending on the price. Depending on the price, I might buy Wendy's candle too and try it out. Now, if it's a $40-$50 candle, Wendy, you can keep those. Karen, you too. These candles better be $15, 20 at the most. If it's over $20, I'm going back to Bed Bath and Beyond, or what's the name of the store? Bath and Body Works. Moving on, they talk about the haters and friends invitation. The invitation was shady. It was shady talking about all welcome all haters and friends, but it's only shady if you consider yourself a hater of Giselle's. If you don't hate Giselle or Robin or hating on all this, like Wendy said, I'm hating this. If you're not hating all this, I wouldn't be offended. So obviously, you only offended by the hater part if you hating, right? But these girls on all the Bravo shows send the craziest invitations. I would have just showed up because it's obvious you wasn't too offended not to show up. Um, they talk about a group trip with the husbands and the luggage. We'll get to that later. Let's jump right into the party. It's time for the party. I think this is the first time we see Giselle and her broke toe. She back with them ugly ass pink shoes on, and I can't stand those ugly shoes. But she get a pass for her toe being broke. Um, the one thing I didn't like about the party, like I said, I don't mind a backyard party, especially during COVID. Like my son's graduation party was outside, and we had the tents and the decorations, all of that, because he graduated in the pandemic. So I completely understand. I'm not mad about the outside party. It was actually a little cute setup, except for the balloons flying away. What I didn't like was the active construction zone. Don't invite me to your house and it's 20 people over there kicking up dust, kicking up mosquitoes and gnats, and I gotta walk in the dirt to get to your outside party. And at least tell me in advance that it's an outside party, because I wouldn't have came with heels on. I know this is for TV. I'm not coming over anybody's house with heels on. I'm gonna have on a cute outfit, but I'm gonna have on some cute flats, and I'm gonna be comfortable. But this is TV. But I'm sure Giselle would have told the ladies we gonna be outside, and you gotta walk a mile in the driveway to get to the outside. Them ladies would have had on some gym shoes. But it was the act of construction, because we heard saws going off, hammers, boards breaking. I would have been like, invite me over for the outside when it's the construction off day. But that's the only thing I didn't like about the outside party. And I already talked about how tacky whatever she getting ready to put on the front of her house look. So the party starts off with Shade. Robin has to bring up this party almost ain't happened because a couple of people weren't allowed to go in the house and use the bathroom. Now, off top, we already know we talking about Wendy and Karen. That's why Wendy felt the need to ask, well, who are you talking about? And you know, Giselle being Giselle, you and Karen, y'all can't come in the house to use the bathroom. And you know, Wendy was like, well, see, that's why I almost ain't come to that shit. Now, see, you should have not came. Now, I understand it's contractual. You don't show up, you don't get paid. That's why Monique told y'all she need this little check. Y'all obviously all need this little check to sit up and listen to all of Giselle and Robin's mess. At the point where a bitch looks me in my face and said, you can't come in the house and use my restroom, I would have picked up my bottle of Moet, got my keys, and say, whoever last, come let me out. Y'all have a good time. I would have politely excused myself. I would have never gave that bitch Giselle the opportunity to tell me I could leave. It's you set the mood right there by bringing that shit up that, okay, we have a problem. Because in Wendy's mind, she probably thinks she deaded everything with Giselle. Like, I see you for your works, but we don't have beef. And so now Giselle just started the beef all the way back up. Giselle says, well, I didn't invite you to because y'all was talking about my house. And Karen was like, yeah, I talked about your house. The Ronald McDonald colors, yes, I said it. I love Karen for that. But then I have to think, and Twitter reminded me that every other bitch sitting there but Wendy, and maybe a Scholar and Mia because they didn't know her, has talked about her house. But Mia was talking shit when she first pulled when Mia first pulled up, she was talking shit about Giselle's house. Robin was talking about your house, saying it was matched. Y'all know what I'm saying, and tacky. Candace called it a teardown and a barn. And Ashley, I can't exactly remember what Ashley said about Giselle's house, but we know Ashley don't miss a moment to be shady. So all of them have talked about your house. So what is your point? What exactly is your point? Just say you don't like them bitches and you shouldn't have invited them. But anyway, I don't care. Let's get back to it. So Giselle, I don't want to talk about that. Giselle at some point calls Wendy a hater, and Wendy gave the best line. She's like, what am I hating on all this? And she gave that chuckle. That chuckle when she laughed at herself, she's like, I'm hating on all this. That took me out. It wasn't the best. Wendy took me out one more time and we gonna get there. But Giselle, you reading yourself. Like what? You have the worst house of everyone on the show. And you probably paid the most for that teardown in the forest. And it's laughable. It is like of everyone's house to hate on, yours is not it. Especially even if you would have had whatever you putting on the front of that house together, that house is not it. But let's move on. We ain't gonna keep shading Giselle house for however long I'm gonna talk, and hopefully for not too much longer. Um, Karen at some point said, okay, let's get this party started. Karen doesn't care nothing about what Giselle is talking about. Karen is here to earn her paycheck, and I appreciate that. They announced the Reasonably Shady podcast. Everyone does a little clap. Congratulations. Robin is reasonable and Giselle is shady. Robin isn't reasonable. She's gullible. She has no personality. And if it wasn't for Robin being Giselle's bulldog, Giselle wouldn't be shady. I would love to see a season with no Robin and Giselle have to stand in her bullshit with nobody chirping in the back. Because it seemed like every time somebody trying to make a point with Giselle, Robin got to be loud. Well, why you care about that? Why you got... I'm like, Robin, shut the fuck up. I want to see a season without Robin, and I want to see if Giselle can stand on her own. Because I guarantee you, without Robin, Giselle won't be shady. She won't. But let's move on. They asked a couple of questions, and I'm going to give my 2 cents on them too. So let's jump right into it real quick. They want to know, and mind you, every question on this piece of paper pertains to someone in the group, which is shade of itself. The first question is holding a grudge after people apologize reasonable or shady? I say it's very reasonable because just because someone apologizes to you, especially if someone can talk all the shit and just come, well, I'm sorry. No, 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 no. You can't keep apologizing for the same shit. Obviously, your apologies mean nothing. It's very reasonable to hold a grudge. I can hold a grudge. I'm not a grudge holder. I am one who will move differently with you after I feel the offense has crossed the line. I'm definitely gonna move differently with you. I'm not gonna argue with you every time I see you like these ladies do, but they doing this for TV. I just move different. But I think it's very reasonable. And I thought it was quite funny that Giselle was asking the question when she holds the most grudges. Like these two ladies just apologized to you. Mind you, I feel like they should not have, and you still got a problem with them. But let's move on. They want to know, is it reasonable or shady to talk about your friends when they are not around? I feel like it is very reasonable. People talk about people all the time when they're not around. It all depends on the context. It's shady if you're talking shit about your friends and they're not around, if you're spilling their tea while they're not around. But sometimes I just, especially with my husband. I mean, when you married, you tell married people tell each other everything. If you tell me 9 times out of 10, my husband knows. Just because I want to talk about it, because I like to talk. Sometimes I just want to vent. Sometimes a friend can piss me off, and because I don't like confrontation, because especially with my friends, because I don't want it to go somewhere that will end the friendship. Sometimes I'll just vent to my husband, get it all out, and let the shit go. So I think it's quite reasonable. And I feel like anybody that says they don't talk about their friends behind their back is a motherfucking lie. But anyway, Giselle says, well, I feel like the Eddie situation was reasonable, but telling Candace in the middle of her video shoot what Mia said was shady. And I'm like, no, we're not talking about Eddie again. And no, I can't stand Giselle, but I'm like, you have this backwards. The Eddie situation, they both were shady to me. Mind you, I did feel like Mia telling Candace in the middle of the video shoot, not that it was shady, but I said it was the wrong time in the wrong place. Wendy could have waited to after the video shoot was over. You see this girl is already stressed about some cars in the sunlight, talking about Mia and her mama. You didn't need to add to that stress. But let's move on. I don't understand what Wendy thought this show was going to be about. Did she think she was just going to get to come on the show, have a good time, get a new body, wear some cute, sexy clothes, and think nobody was going to talk about her ass? You saw how they did the girls last season. It's just your turn, Wendy. You got to sit in it, keep fighting through it, keep shading through it, and move on. It's your turn. Um, let's move on because they argue for a little bit over if the Candace thing was shady or not. I'm happy Candace showed up at the right time. They're like, Candace, we talking about you, and Candace did the thing talking about, look, I appreciated Wendy telling me when she told me. So if the person who was supposed to experience the shade didn't feel like it was shade, then let it go. But they had to argue about that some more. Candace tells Mia that her problem is, I don't know what Candace was telling Mia, but Candace and Mia argued back and forth. And at the end of the day, Candace was saying something about Mia was asking about her titties and who pay her household bills. And Mia had to let it be known, no, I just asked your mama one question, child. One question. Now, editing could have been in there, but I don't see Mia asking all of that, but I can't see Mia asking all that either. That let me know Mama Dot put 20 on 10. Mama Dot probably added some shit so Mia could look extra shady than what she was doing. Because Mia, I said it once, I think I said it on Twitter. Mia, all you had to do was stand there and listen. Mama Dot, Mama Dorothy came on the scene spraying all of Chris's teeth. She was just throwing Chris hate left and right to whatever ear would listen. If you just sat there and listened long enough, you would have heard what you needed to know. And I do, even though Ashley piped in late, Candace did have a conversation with the ladies. I don't know if Mia was at the table or not. Well, she said Chris was not getting paid, so I don't even know why that had to be a question. Mia, you were being nosy. I just said all that. See, I'm talking ahead of my notes. At the end of the day, Mia was like, well, management wasn't there, and I showed up to a parking lot. I didn't know what was going on, girl. If you was that concerned, you could have turned around and went home. I agree with Candace 100%. At the end of the day, Mia called Candace's video shoot low budget. And mind you, Giselle co-signed. She said the shit was low budget in the parking lot. But see, Giselle, that's why I don't like her. That's why I don't like her. She's moving on. And then Candace said, hold up, watch your mouth, your mama low budget. I was here for the your mama talk. Mind you, what I said on Twitter was, in the world I live in, the way I grew up, some of the people I grew up with, you can't come around talking about, oh, your mama low budget. Most people, when they hear their mama, they have nothing else to say. They follow it with swings. Now, mind you, that was young Angie. Younger people did that. I don't advocate no violence, but what I need Candace to understand is you don't know Mia. You don't know her backstory. If she would have outright slapped you for calling her mama low budget, I would have understood that too. But I was here for the comment because Mia, you came for her husband. She came for your mama. You can't come for people and think they not going to come for you right back. So I was here for Candace and what she said, if she knew the backstory or not. Because sometimes people will try to say what they got to say to cut you deep, to get them up off them. And that's what Candace did. She got you up off of her. But Candace, what I need you to know is, if you going to throw your mamas out there, because it seemed like next week you're going to have a lot more of your mamas to say, don't come out with the triangle Kleenexes in the Post-it notes. Be prepared for whatever people throw back at you when you want to slice them. They can slice you too. But Mia, you deserve that slicing from Candace right there. Ashley chimes in saying, well, Candace, you did say Chris don't get paid. And then, Candace threw another shut up, you wide-faced bitch or hoe. One of them she threw out there to her. And Ashley, you deserve that because at the end of the day, you were not there. You should have just been sitting there giving us facials and enjoying the tea spillage. You should have just been sitting there doing that, Ashley. Okay. Some kind of way, Giselle pipes up to say, well, Karen was talking about your mama too. And Wendy and the scholar said, hold up. Karen wasn't talking, but how dare you throw Karen's name out there when you was out there co-signing and asking your own questions. And I agree. I 100% agree. Like, Giselle, you went up to the mama to tell her, well, we did tell Candace he riding the coattails, and I just wanted you to know that we told her that. Why? Why did you need Mama Dot to know that you said it? Because you messy. And you already knew what Mama Dot was on. You was gassing her back up for round 2 because the video shoot was over when you came up to her and said it. Now, Robin joins in some kind of way, but I don't want to talk about Robin because Robin was only piping up when people started coming for Giselle, and that's what she does. Robin, get another storyline. Get another storyline. Being Giselle's pit bull isn't entertaining. It just makes you look weak, gullible, and dumb. Moving on. The best part of the episode was Karen talked about she had her shot. I don't know if it was the first or the second, and she was all woozy, and the editors was doing that woozy edit. I was laughing. It was hilarious. Um, are we over Mia? Because I'm kind of over Mia. I need Mia to sit down. She's definitely on team too much. And I'm over Robin. Um, Next question. Is it reasonable or shady if your friend calls you drunk in the middle of the day or night to tell you that they don't fuck with you no more? I think that's kind of shady, but I think it's kind of funny. No one has ever drunk called me, and I've never drunk called anyone that I can remember. I usually do all my shit talking when I'm drunk face to face, and it's hilarious. But if you call me drunk and I'm sober, I'm probably gonna hang up in your face. The only time drunk talking is fun is if you're both drunk. If you come to me drunk and I'm sober, I ain't gonna have time for it. I'm like, okay, girl, go sleep it off. Everyone talks about how much they love drunk Karen. Ashley likes drunk Karen's phone calls. But moving on. Next, is it cool to call on a friend who has had plastic surgery after the blogs say her husband is cheating? That question was 100% shady. The most shady part of it was how Giselle looked at that phone and saw what question was up next. And she was like, you know what? This is a group podcast. Robin, I'm going to let you ask this question. And I'm like, Robin, you the dizzy bitch who would ask this. Just like Ashley. You see, Giselle don't want to be hit with that fire because she know talking about Eddie and that blogs is messy. So she throws the questions off to dummies like Ashley and dummies like Robin. If I was Robin, I'd be like, Giselle, you can read it. And I would have let Giselle stand in it since she wrote out the questions. But moving on. Wendy's comeback is where I hollered. Wendy said, no, it's not shady if it came from the same blog that says you had an STD. I hollered. I was like, Wendy, check this bitch. Let it be known. You worried about my husband, what you need to be worrying about your private parts and if they on fire like Karen said or not. So I want to know what blog is this. I ain't seen none of these rumors in the streets. It can't be the Shade Room or none of that stuff I follow on Instagram. What blogs are they reporting this stuff in? That was hilarious. So now they arguing again. And Wendy's talking about, y'all was talking about me at dinner. Wendy, they talk about people behind their back, just like when you go to a dinner and you talk about somebody who ain't there. Please believe they doing the same thing to you. So let's get over that. It was too much. At this point, Giselle asked Wendy to leave the house. And I'm like, this was your MO the whole time. You only invited them to kick them out. The only thing Karen is over here in La La Land from her COVID shot. She ain't acting up. Wendy is giving you the business. This was Giselle's whole thing. Okay, I gotta invite them, but I'm just gonna kick their asses out so I can look like I'm doing something by kicking them out. Giselle, I see you. And I like Karen. She was like, wait up. This public property, we outside in a field. You can't kick us out from a field. That was funny. Skylar pipes in. I was happy to see a scholar pipe in and say, look, I'm talking to Giselle. Shut up, ho. She was talking to Mia. I appreciated that, but I didn't write down what a scholar said. And then we get some more theatrics. Candace is up out of her seat throwing AKA signs in Mia's face. Is Mia a AKA? I don't understand why Candace was doing that. Karen, more woozy effects from her shot. And then Karen just said, look, I'm tired of this shit. I ain't get vaccinated. I ain't get vaccinated to come over here and argue with these bitches. And they was like, vaccinated. I understand, Karen. I mispronounce words all the time. Most of the times because I'm talking too fast. And I just be talking, I be saying shit wrong. But people be understanding what you meant. Karen drops the tea about where they going to the beach, the East Coast beach, couples trip. Wendy says, yes, we going to the beach. Everyone is invited. Everyone's husband, Dre can come. You could bring Ray. Eddie's gonna be there. Even if you feel like Michael wants to show up, Michael could show up. And then she looked at Robin and Giselle could bring her luggage. That shit was hilarious. I love Wendy this episode because Wendy didn't raise her voice. She didn't curl up in a ball and cry like she did the last time with Karen. I can't believe Eddie is such a good man. Like, Wendy sat confidently and read them bitches in her own field, her own backyard. Okay, the party is over. Wendy got enough. We're going to see next week if Juan is coming. Is Juan coming? Of course not. Will Robin and Giselle go? I kind of hope they don't. I would like to see the group dynamics without those two being messy because it's enough mess amongst the rest to still have a good show. Candace was like, I want to go see the West Wing. I want to go see the closet. A scholar wants to go too, but she was like, hold up. The stairs ain't attached to the house. I gotta walk another mile to get to some kind of sliding door. She was like, invite me back when you get your entrance together and FaceTime me and I'll see the pictures. And I would have been with a scholar. I ain't got time to be breaking my toe trying to make my way to see that tacky ass house. Now, mind you, the house is tacky, but my ass likes the inside of the house. I don't care. I don't care. That whole leopard print fabric on the walls in the powder room, that shit was cute to me. That magenta wall with the big ass diamond in the middle of it, that shit was cute to me. I like the inside of Giselle's house. The outside, not so much, but I'm a tacky kind of person too. I like colors and shit like that. Wait till I finish my son's room. This is my son's room I'm in now. I'm gonna redecorate it the way I want to because he out in college. So when he come back, he'll be a visitor. You know, college is his new address. But anyway, let's move on from that. Candace has to have somebody back her car out, and she gives Grace the keys to her Lexus. And I said, girl, you must not want a Lexus, or you must have super duper insurance. Grace is the last person I would let back out my car. And Giselle, you wrong for letting her do it. You won't even let Grace drive your good car. She in a little mini car that Jamal left. You won't even let Grace drive your good car, and you gonna let her bag out Candace's car. Grace hits cones every time she's in the car. But she did a good job. She still hit the cones. She scraped up the side of one of Candace's rims and tires, but Giselle, get ready to write Candace a cute little $200 check so she can get that fixed. And that's it. That's on to next week. It was a good episode. I talked way too much, damn near 40 minutes, but I enjoyed this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, and I can't wait to see G act up next week. Michael will have a new friend. It looked like he liked to act up the way Michael liked to act up. But don't say that. That ain't right. That ain't right. But anyway, we just gonna wait and see what next week gives. But anyway, get in the comments. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Go ahead and hit the like button. Give me a like. And if this is your first time with Kiss My Cheeks TV, go ahead and hit subscribe. I'll be back for all the fun reality shows and all the reality competition shows. Until then, I'm about to go. I'm about to give you Love and Marriage Huntsville next. And I'll see y'all next weekend for the weekend reality review. Bye.